It's no secret, the tech job market right now is, well, some days it feels like it's getting better, some days it feels like it's getting worse, but the reality is there are still so many companies hiring for good candidates. I thought, what better way to explore or really understand as to what these top tier companies in tech are looking for when we think about candidates than to ask them myself. I'm going to share with you how you can stand out when you are job hunting, especially in today's environment in tech. Real tips that you can take away from recruiters who have worked at companies such as Google, Apple, and so much more. I'm so excited to share this video with you because I think there are so many tips packed within it that aren't spoken about as often or just not shared at all. So let's hear straight from the source, straight from tech recruiters themselves. And before we do anything, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay ahead with everything tech related. All right, now let's jump into it. You know, when I was making this video, I thought, okay, Tiff, I'm gonna start with the positives and work my way down through different aspects of tech recruiting. Now I'm sitting down, you know me, I'm typically pretty candid. I'm gonna share with you what not to do. What not to do on your resume when you are applying for jobs within the tech industry. Now, this answer is from Lisa, who is a former tech recruiter at Apple. And she shared some incredible advice in a podcast I did with her a while back. And I wanna share with you one snippet from it that really summed up well what not to do when you are job hunting.
Oh, arrogance, definitely. Inability to, so what I tell everybody is when you're building out a resume, read every line of your resume and ask the question, and so what? What is that telling potential employer? What is that telling a potential recruiter? What is the meaning of actually putting that on your resume? And it's three things. How have you made a company money? How have you saved a company money? Or how have you changed a process in a meaningful way within that organization? So if you look at your resume through those three lenses always, you're going to be putting your best foot forward generally.
Now, what Lisa is really getting at here is understand the purpose as to what you can bring to the company. And I know this doesn't sound great to hear, but imagine being on the other side of the receiving end, getting your resume, looking it over. At the end of the day, how I always frame my mind is these individuals, they're just trying to make their boss happy too. We're all trying to make our bosses happy. And they want to ensure that you or whoever they choose for interviewing is someone that will make them look good. So how do you do that? You need to share within your resume, within your cover letter from the very beginning, customize it, put some effort into it, and make it feel as though this is what I can provide to your company. It's kind of hard to hear that, but at the end of the day, it really is. And framing your resume in a way that really hits on a lot of the points that are in the job postings, sharing a story in a unique way, I think is absolutely key. And let's be honest, when we are job hunting, too often, or maybe it's just me, too often though, do we just start not spending the money or saving the money, but start like just flipping out the resumes and not customizing it. Make sure to customize your resume. I need to start with that. We need to start right from the beginning with the resume. Okay, but here's the thing. This didn't just come from Lisa. Pretty much every tech recruiter who has worked at large tech companies gave the same advice, which is what's in it for them. I loved how Jermaine, who is an incredible tech recruiter, he's put thousands actually into really big tech roles at Google, Microsoft, the list goes on. I love how he summed it up. He's such a great storyteller, by the way. This is a clip from his Takeoff Talk. Listen up.
It might sound a bit manipulative, right? I mean, hey, all's fair in job searching and love, right? It may sound a bit manipulative, but it goes back to what's in it for me, right? Not everyone is gonna have the same goals or appreciate the same kind of information, right? It all comes down to, like, again, what's in it for me. So one thing you should always do before you go into an interview is always to do research, not just on the person, but the company and the industry. Try to identify trends, try to identify pockets that you might actually specifically be able to help in.
Okay, but one more clip from Jermaine because I think he's just brilliant in tech recruiting and has so much great advice. Here is what he says that catches recruiters off guard and why you should really keep it in mind.
It always catches interviewers off guard when you ask them what makes them different from their competitors, right? If I were to compare, like, I heard your competitor does X, Y, and Z differently from you, why do you feel like that's actually a worthwhile move? Or why do you feel like it's okay for the company not to focus on that endeavor right there?
I think it's such a great question and it will really help you know how to frame the rest of the interview, the context of the interview. So that's kind of a little hidden tip that I personally had no idea about. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Okay, well, it's actually not the fun stuff, probably the opposite of the fun stuff, which is the money. The money, honey. I mean, it's good once you secure the deal, but getting there sometimes is not so fun, especially when it comes to negotiations. If you need any advice or motivation though, when you are thinking about, okay, maybe I don't want to negotiate or I'm scared to negotiate, all those mixed emotions, Crystal, who's another takeoff speaker, summed it up so well. When I heard what she had to say about the importance of negotiating, it really changed the way I think about negotiating now. I realized that it is a necessity, even yes, in today's environment. Listen to what she had to say and how it can impact you down the road if you do not negotiate.
Recently, a very similar scenario where she was asked the pay question, what do you say? And I would always say, negotiate that, always. And the reason why, and then the feedback was, okay, should I? Like, I don't know how, I feel awkward. This is weird for me to say. And I'm not really good at it. I don't know how to ask. And I would say, well, if you don't ask, then the other person, the other people, and imagine this. So I created like a scenario. I said, imagine this. Other people joining the org are asking for more. You not asking for more does nothing for anybody else, except for the business. You not asking for more doesn't hurt you, doesn't hurt them. But in the long run, as your salaries continue to rise and grow, you're always gonna be one step behind. Imagine everybody else asking for more because they deserve more. And if there's a time to ask for more, it's at the front end. And the background for you, like how would I describe it? The strength to ask for more is to believe that you're worth that, because you are.
All right, so far we've covered how to really structure your resume. Make it feel personable, make it tell a story. How do you do that? Really highlight not only what you did at the company, but the outcome of that as well. What were the results? And this doesn't need to be data-driven. It can also be more storytelling focused. Also, another tip I recently learned, this is not from a recruiter, but it's from a salesperson who's worked at IBM, Accenture, the list goes on, was to also, in where you have your job title, or sorry, your company title, input what the company is. So maybe you work at a company currently that isn't a massive tech company and not everyone knows about. This way it will help when recruiters are looking at your website. They don't have to go search up the company that you worked for, because let's be real, they probably won't. They can see it right directly in your resume to get a better understanding of who you are and where you worked. The other thing, which was really threaded throughout every speaker, everyone I spoke to, was really embedded in staying true to yourself, but then also to what can you give to them? Why should they hire you? So often we are just answering because we're nervous, we're answering the questions that they are telling us, but we are not adding that extra story, that extra bit where it's really sharing with them how they, in turn, by hiring you, will look good to their boss. And I know, once again, it feels kind of weird doing it that way, but for me anyways, it really helped frame it that, yeah, they're just someone, another person, also, having to make their boss happy, having to check off the box. How can I be that fit for them? How can I show them, which I already know, and you already know, you are the best fit, that when they go to their boss, they can be like, yes, this person is the best role for this. That for me completely changed everything. And to sum it up, always ask that question Jermaine shared at the end. I think it will really hit home with tech recruiters and others in the interview. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love making this type of video where I'm incorporating other experts into it. Leave down below 2 things. I have 2 things for you. One being, what other experts do you want to hear from? Or what other topics do you want to hear them speak on? And the other, as always, is what videos do you want me to make? It saw from my last video I made, I got a lot of questions and comments to make some videos around web development and the top tools for it. So let me know if that is something you would like to see in an upcoming video as well. All right, thanks everyone.